If you're just now starting to get some arm movement back, but not enough to functionally use it, this workout is for you. Today, we're gonna go through 2 sets of 5 exercises designed to help you kickstart some more arm movement after a stroke. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started right into our first exercise, which is a forward lean weight bearing. So all you're gonna do is take your arms, even if you need to help with your unaffected arm to position, and you're gonna try to lean into both of your arms. Now, if it's easier for you to kind of come down onto a bent elbow, you can do that as well. This is sort of a preparatory exercise to start getting those muscles woken up for the active exercises that we're gonna be doing afterwards. Come back up. If you're able to get your palms semi-flat, you can come here and try to lean into those arms. Now, in my previous weight bearing video, I had you doing these standing up, trying to get your elbow out, trying to fully weight bear through both of those arms. If you're interested in that, I'm gonna leave a link. There's a card up here and a link down in the description. Okay, we're moving on to the second exercise, which is going to be shoulder flexion. Now, normally in my exercise videos, it looks like this. This is shoulder flexion, raising your arm up. However, we're starting with little movement. So today we're gonna use a towel to help reduce friction. You're gonna place your affected arm on the towel. And all I want you to do is try to push that arm forward as best as you can, and then pull it back. If you're not able to get your hand flat, kind of fingers want to curl in, that's okay. You can put them there as well. And you're trying to push your arm forward from your shoulder. Good. Keep it going, push it forward, and then bring it back. Excellent. Push it forward and bring it back. Good. All right. Now we're moving into exercise number 3, which is the horizontal abduction and adduction, meaning arm is gonna come across body, away from body. So for this, arm can stay in same position, or if you can get your palm flat, that's fine. You're gonna try to move your arm across your body, crossing your midline, and then back out to the side. I like using towels for people who are just getting some of that movement back. This can really help to kickstart that movement, to help your brain understand, hey, okay, I have a little bit of movement that I can control. And that towel just takes away the friction that you might otherwise be moving against. Say you're working on top of a table or on a bed sheet. That towel is just gonna help you move a little bit more successfully. All right, we are moving into bicep curls. Yes, you heard me right, bicep curls. Everything we're doing is towel assisted today. So for bicep curls, we're focused on getting this movement, right? Bending up and getting that curl. So we're gonna bring that forearm in and bending the elbow. So instead of like we were doing with the first one, focusing really more on that movement at the shoulder, we want more of the elbow bend this time, so we're targeting biceps. Good. Bending that elbow, doing your best. Now you may not be getting as much movement as I am, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone is starting out at a very different place with all of these videos. Just do your best. Some movement is better than no movement. And even if you have no movement and you're practicing these, you're still working on getting those brain-body connections back. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop there. Now for this last one, we're gonna focus on wrist. So I want you to get into this position where your wrist is gonna be, your hand, your arm is gonna be on its side, pinky side down. If your hand tends to stay kind of curled up, that's fine. Here, I'm gonna turn just a little bit so you can see this movement. I want you to try your best and take your wrist back and then push your wrist forward. Good. Bring your wrist back and push it forward. Now that back movement, that wrist extension, may be really tough for you, and that's okay. If you don't have that movement yet, that's fine. What I want you to focus on especially is coming out from this flexed position where your wrist is bent forward and gently trying to push back and pushing that wrist back as best you can. Okay, go ahead and take a breather here. We're gonna take about 15 seconds just to kind of regroup before we go into that first exercise again. We are just working on kickstarting movement, trying to rebuild neuroplastic changes in the brain, connecting brain to body with these movements. Okay, so we're back at our first exercise, which is that forward lean weight bearing. So just to remind you, if you need to come down onto your forearms, you can, and we're just putting weight through those arms as best as you can. Now, if you have a little bit more movement and you can come up into this position, you're just gonna lean forward onto those arms, either with your palm flat, if you can get it that way, or with your fingers curled in. If it's easier, you can put like a tennis ball underneath if your fingers kind of want to stay curled. And that way you're giving some support to the palm of your hand. But either way, you're just trying to get some of that weight bearing down through your arm. Now, I mentioned this in my weight bearing video. If you do have a lot of swelling in your arm or hand or your wrist, maybe skip this one and just move on to the next exercise. Okay, speaking of which, we are back at shoulder flexion. We're gonna bring out the towel. We're using this to help assist us for every exercise today. If you can get your hand flat, great. If not, your fingers are gonna be curled, that's fine, in a fist. And all you're gonna do, really focused on the shoulder movement here, is push your arm out. Almost like you're reaching towards the end of the table or whatever you're using. If it helps, you can set something out here as sort of a target or a goal to hit. Sometimes our brain really likes having goals. It can help us work a little bit harder if we have something that we're working towards. But the goal is we're really focused on that shoulder movement, pushing the whole arm out, out, out. Very nice. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is gonna be the horizontal abduction and adduction, which just means we're coming outside of our body and then across midline. Again, fingers and palm can be flat, or you can have your wrist in this position. Fingers are curled in, whatever works better for you. Let's bring that arm across the body. Again, we're really focused on shoulder movement here. The shoulder is kind of directing this party. Bringing the arm out to the side, bringing the arm in across midline. Very nice, let's keep it going. You're doing great. Good. Give me a few more here. Out to the side, and then in across midline, right? All right, good job. We're back at bicep curls. So now what we're gonna do, instead of focusing on that whole arm movement, we're just gonna be focused in on the elbow. So what I want you to do is bend that elbow in. If you can try to give that bicep a nice contraction as you're moving. You're already contracting it, but if you can add a little extra, great. Good. So we're bending the elbow, straightening the elbow. Good, let's do it again. Keep it going, and if you've got the activation, you're giving that bicep a little extra contraction at the end there. All right, good job. Very nice. Let's go ahead and do this last one. Oh, sorry, we have some barking dogs this morning. They just want to make sure everyone's awake. All right, fantastic. We're moving on to our last exercise, which is the wrist flexion and extension. So now we're just focused in on these smaller muscles here. We're gonna work on bending the wrist forward and bending the wrist back. Bending it forward and bending it back. Great job. Well, and I mentioned this last time. If the bending your wrist back part is really difficult, that's okay. You have a little bit, you have nothing at all, that's fine. I want you to keep practicing it though, because it's not gonna get better unless you try, right? We have to rebuild brain pathways with attempted movement, even if that movement's not there. We have to build it with attempted muscle contraction. That's how the brain and the body are gonna talk. So I just want you to do your best. That's all anybody can ask you to do. Try it out and see what you get. You might be surprised over time that, hey, maybe one day you have a little bit of extra movement. All right, go ahead and rest there. We are gonna be done with this one for the day. You made it all the way through. Give yourself a little pat on the back. Great job. As always, I'm gonna be leaving a link down in the description if you'd like to sign up for the email list. Before you go, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like if you found it helpful. And of course, if you find value in what we do here at Post Stroke, please consider gifting us, either by giving us a super thanks by clicking in the YouTube bar below, by giving us a one-time donation via PayPal, or by becoming a Patreon member, where in exchange for a monthly donation, you get access to cool perks like social media shoutouts, behind the scenes footage, and even YouTube shoutouts, of which I have one today. Thank you so much, Heather G, for continuing to contribute at the Empower level. We can't do what we do without you. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.